It is Randy Byrd, and I'm really excited to announce this rock star that has just recently joined the eXp company and our organization, SUZY KORMANIK. How are you, Suzy?
I'm so good. Thanks, Randy. I'm so
This
excited to
is,
be here.
I'm excited to have you. This has been a week or two in the coming. You've been in the company now a couple of weeks, I think, and took off like a rocket, obviously, and really excited to see your growth in that. I just wanted people to get to know you a little bit, introduce you, and welcome you. I know we did a little text thread that Tom Daves and Don and Brent and everybody chimed in on and welcomed you. We met through the Tom Ferry organization through a referral, and what was interesting about this, and you'll probably appreciate where I'm going with this, is it was a very challenging kind of referral. I think there was some real anomalies that happened, and the referral fee got screwed up, and we stayed in relationship and communication over this. And frankly, it wasn't the best experience on an eXp front, because frankly, it got messed up on the backside for the referral fee, but you stayed really pleasant through that. We stayed in relationship. We eventually got you paid, which is what we really want to do. But for me, it shows a lot of character, because it did not take away from the fact that you took an honest look at this company, even though maybe that first experience was not one that you would have been a level 10 experience, right?
And isn't it funny? I think didn't know a lot about eXp, but I knew there was some curiosity. And then to have that deal go the way it was, I was like, really?
I know.
Like,
And
give me a reason. You just gave me a reason to say no. I thought you were going to give me 100 reasons to say yes.
totally.
But at the end of the day, like, we're all human and we all make mistakes. And for me, Randy, it was really about how you corrected that mistake. And again, even that had a little bit of a rough patch, but I think we got to know each other's character through that, which was enough for me to say, I like this guy. I like
That means a lot to me. I literally could weep with that statement, and I mean that, because that is what this world's about, the relationships. And honestly, there was an equal demon in me not wanting to reach out to you, because I had to face my shortfalls. I had to face my shortfalls when I called you and said, I really enjoyed you. I really liked the way that went, but man, we screwed up. Would you please forgive me? And that led to a friendship. That led to a relationship that allowed us to.
I think it was exactly that phone call that was so redeeming for me, that it was like, oh, okay, now. And in that same call, we started talking about eXp. I wanted to do something different. I just didn't know what it was. And I didn't know enough about eXp. But I didn't know enough to walk away, but I didn't know enough at the time to say, yes, I'm coming over.
Right. And I appreciate that, but it literally is, frankly, you're one of my proudest partnerships, because there was that challenge that we had to overcome. And I'm always looking at it from a perspective that, as an eXp team leader, I always want to do the right thing, because you just never know when that relationship's going to turn into a partnership. And so I'm really, really excited. It's vulnerable, honestly, to talk about that, but it just shows your character and who you are. And that's why I'm really happy to be aligned with you. But so talk to me, somebody looking at eXp, maybe, what is it that attracted you in the beginning? Because I think there's a lot of value when you're brand new in the company to what it looks like from the outside looking in. And what did you see in that, in that company?
It makes so much sense. I had a desire. So I have a background in tech sales. And so for me, when I moved into real estate, my first year, well, it was a successful year and I got questions answered. I really missed the camaraderie. I really missed the collaboration. And I ultimately just missed technology. I came from tech. And so I'm used to having back-end resources, not people resources, but the ability to go find what I need. And as a matter of fact, I was just telling someone today, they said, how do you like it? And I said, when I want something, I can just go get it. I don't have to wait for anybody's schedule, anybody's hours. It's lovely. That's all I have to say.
No, that's a great takeaway. That's intriguing and interesting, because when you think about it, the old traditional way of thinking is we relied on our broker, and the reality is we just don't need them that much as much as we used to. There's still compliance piece, but everything's at our fingertips, whether we're with a traditional brokerage or not, right? It's still, but when you do it,
I think I do need that, because having just a year of real estate as a broker behind me, I think I do need the managing broker, but it's so easy to walk in. Like, you don't even knock on a door, you go into the virtual world and there they are. And if I don't want to use the virtual world, I go use a chat
Yeah.
system, and they're so fast to
Yeah.
get back. The response isn't, hey, can we meet at, say, 3 o'clock today to cover this issue? No, it's, if you have a burning issue and you need my time right now, you get it. And then if we need to screen share because I'm not understanding, that is just a fast option too.
That's so true. We have the eXp world that you're referring to for the people that may not understand that piece. That's like a virtual online college campus. And then we have Workplace by Facebook, which is an instant messaging app within Facebook that we collectively have 45,000 agents involved in, which is amazing. I was just talking to the president of the company this morning saying, hey, we got this little thing we need your help with. And he's like responding. And then I'm having a conversation with him and, in a chat real time. That's just amazing that they still make themselves available for us. Mm-hmm. So, you are a techie. Sometimes you're way over my head in your tech language and understanding of tech. And we are a tech company, kind of maybe disguised as a real estate company. We make fun of that, but Glenn Sanford is a visionary when it comes to technology. And, so I'm really excited about what that can do for not only your business, but for your clients, because at the end of the day, the rubber hits the road. It's what can we do to provide more for our clients? And, I think that piece is really valuable. But tell us a little bit about you. You're in Vancouver, Washington.
Mm-hmm. I'm in Vancouver, Washington. I cover the Clark County area.
Okay.
That can be areas like Camas, Richfield, La Center, Battleground, in Vancouver. Awesome. I was born and raised here. I did leave for a handful of years, so I've seen a little bit more of the world than just this area. Yeah. But it definitely was a calling to come back home. And I've been back home about 12 years.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. Very cool. Well, I'm excited to meet you in person as soon as we can, cross borders and travel.
Randy,
and
you've never done that.
And have lunch. I know.
I can't believe we've never done that. But that is just, again, that's testament to everything being virtual. You can create relationships in a virtual environment. And coming from tech, I had done that over the years because in the corporate space, budgets get cut all the time and you don't travel. So I don't honestly know if I could have been as successful in a different time in real estate. The timing was perfect for me because I knew how to walk myself through this type of, not a pandemic, but definitely building relationships virtually.
And I want to talk about your background in a minute because you have an impressive background, but it's really true. I didn't really give a lot of thought to the fact that we've never met in person, but we have such a close connection. I mean, we talk, if not daily, very regularly. And I see you all the time on video and in our trainings and meetings and different things. It feels like we have a connection, but I literally have never met you in person. That is actually the world we live in now. And, COVID has added a layer of challenge to that. But then again, you just had a transaction that you never met the person. You were telling me about the exciting part of that. Are you allowed to tell us about it, how that went?
Yes, it was super fun. The client found me on the internet from my videos. And I think he probably got to know me a little bit more before I knew him. And so when he first called and said, this is what I'm looking for, it sounded too good to be true. And so I'm always a little, skeptical about and careful about fraud or things like that. And then all of a sudden I said, hey, I'm going to be at this new build. Do you want to FaceTime with me? And he said, yeah. And there it was. I met his wife and his baby, and we walked through. And about a week later, he was in town. And a few days after that, we locked him into contract on a new construction home.
So amazing. You've never met him.
Never met him, but even just through our video chats, it was so much fun to see his mannerisms. And when they came up, just to meet them. And then what was really neat too is they're both engineers. And I don't think I've even told you this part, but they're both engineers. He moved up with a large corporation and she was looking for work. And I happened to have a bunch of connections. So I reached out to a couple of really big connectors from my industry and said, hey, I've got this great gal. She's a like a software engineer and networking engineer, and you might want to meet her. And so they've all connected. So
wow, that's special. Mm-hmm. That's very cool. Since we're on that, let me show people a video of yours. Do you mind if I do that?
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
All right. I'm going to share my screen and show people a video of Suzy in action in Vancouver. So here we go.
my friends, is Esther Short Park, home to Saturday Market, where you'll find the best flowers, produce, and local artisans around. In the summertime, this park comes to life with concerts, cultural events, and other things that just bring life to the park. The green space, located right here in downtown Vancouver, is the oldest public square in the entire state of Washington. It was created in 1853, and be sure when you stop by to check out the 69-foot Salmon Run Bell Tower. There are 35 bronze bells that chime every 15 minutes from morning to evening.
Oh my. That's incredible. I did not know that.
Here's a little news flash. I didn't know all of that either. So
you had to time your video in between the 15-minute bell ringing.
That's right. So, but I knew the bells rang. I just didn't know as much about them because it is really fun when you hear them chime downtown. And I have friends who live in the area and they talk about it all the time.
That is very cool. Well, that's just one of your many videos. Matter of fact, the way that we connected through the referral side, and I appreciate the referral, by the way, very much. Thanks for the trust.
Thank you.
And the clients are amazing, and everybody.
But I should say, you didn't have it all that easy on that referral either. That was a big game.
That was a difficult one. But you know what? At the end of the day, we made the guy really happy. He was a military vet, so close to my heart. And
me too.
We had to paint, we had to do repairs, we had all kinds of stuff, and there was a lot to it. But his name was Randy. His name was Randy, so I knew he was going to be a cool guy.
That's right. But I think that goes back to your integrity too, because you didn't tell me how. I heard it through the grapevine how messy it was. You never let on, and you kind of let me go to town, being a little irritated about how the referral went down. And so, anyway, back to it takes two.
And I appreciate that, because I think agents watching need to understand that there is a dynamic with referrals, and I look at it like that's the highest honor that I can get in business. So I treat it with a 5-star approach, and if I'm doing anything less than a 5-star approach, I'm letting you and the client down that you trusted. So, and I think all realtors probably feel that way, but it definitely is a testament when it happens. And at the end of the day, the clients are extremely happy and everything worked out very well. So again, I thank you for that. And I thank Tom Ferry organization for making that referral process available through the coaching clients. So tell me a little bit about your background. I know it, but I think it's fair to share with the people of where you came from in the corporate world prior to real estate.
Oh my goodness. Well, gosh, I don't even know how old the iPhone is anymore, but I used to sell the iPhone and the technology that went with it probably 12, 15 years ago before anybody was using it.
Wow.
And so that was my big start in tech. And I was selling, I did things like K20. I did things higher, there's my stutter, right? State and local governments, and, really talking through the security of the devices. And I can remember things like Big Tin Can, which was this where you could open the refrigerator door and pick whatever downloads you wanted or whatever downloads the company deemed appropriate for you to have on your cell phone. It was kind of the Wild West back then, and it was internet everywhere and really game changing. And then fast forward, and then I went in to sell cloud automation, orchestration. And so, I understand probably a little more of the backbone of how eXp runs than most people with that knowledge.
You definitely do. And when we talked, you were asking questions. I was like X's and O's. They were way over my head. And, I appreciated you asking. But the cool thing is I can answer every question just by going through my line of people in this company, because they're all willing to share all the way up to the top.
And half the questions I asked were not going to have anything to do with my productivity here. They were just nerdy questions.
Yeah, so, I love the nerdy, geeky questions, though, because I'm not that guy. But for somebody of my maturity in real estate, I'm pretty techie. I take that piece and I I'm blessed that I have the ability to kind of work through those pieces. But
I think that was my path and my journey. But you certainly don't have to be techie. If we could talk about the onboarding process really quickly.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it from you. Be honest. Like, what was your experience through the onboarding? And don't say anything bad, because I helped you and did it.
No, for me, it was seamless. Like, it was the onboarding that I was accustomed to. It was click here and this will happen. Click here and that will happen. And then here's the emails that came over. They came over in a series of about 5 days, I think. And if you followed them exactly, it said, go do this, X, Y, and Z. And when you did it, it all came to fruition. And then on the back end, because I was using my formal name, that only my mother calls me, right? Suzanne, and probably only when I'm in trouble.
Right.
Then I wanted to get it to Suzy. Even that with a slight hiccup, after the fact was no hiccup at all.
Interesting.
So yeah, and I know, I feel like we've talked about it, that not everybody has that process, but if you follow what they say and do the steps in order, I thought it was seamless. I thought it was fantastic. And I even one day went to the tech support in the virtual world, and you sit right on down and you talk to somebody.
Isn't it so amazing? You just pick a number like you're at a Subway sandwich shop and you're number 2, and then they call you up and you sit down with a real person. And
it's like sitting at the Genius Bar with your Apple device and they come out to you. I mean, all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're like, oh, I'm sitting.
Yeah, that's fixed. That was painless. And you know, people don't realize we're a virtual company with literally no offices. We have one office in Bellevue, Washington for compliance issues. We have to have one office. It's like a little 400 square foot office, I hear. But we have somewhere between 600 and 1,000 employees that work behind the scenes to help us constantly. And, you know, we are growing. We have growing pains with every company that's adding the agents. We added just a whisker under 1,000 agents in the month of January. Yeah. I think that's a public thing now, so I could say it. But just think about that, 1,000 agents. I'm sorry, over almost 1,000 agents in a week, not a month.
Wow.
Yeah. So think about the growth. When you're adding, 900 to 1,000 agents in a week, the amount of onboarding disciplines and things that have to happen. But take us through, I think this is valuable for agents that may watch this, may be curious about eXp, maybe friends of yours that want to look at the opportunity. What does it look like transitioning? Was it difficult from the changing brokerages, which again, I'm really impressed by the amount of integrity you had to your current broker, how much you liked them, you wanted to leave that relationship and bridge intact. All that really spoke to you as well to me, and that doesn't go unnoticed. But it probably does scare some agents to move from XYZ over to eXp. What's that? What'd that look like for you? Was it difficult? Was it expected? What was it?
I love change. So for me, change is an opportunity, and it's exciting. And I like the feeling of, I really, maybe I'm weird, but I like the feeling of starting over. I like the feeling of diving into things and learning. I'm a constant learner. And so it was a little bit, it happened fast. I think that's what I was most unprepared for, is from the minute that I said yes to the minute I was all of a sudden at eXp was like, it felt like 3 days. And I don't think it was much more than that.
Right.
And so, but I appreciated the brokerage that I left. I appreciated how they let me go with grace. Yeah. The transition was, gosh, how do I sum it up? Again, it's a process. And anybody who makes a transition, I would always say, write out a 30, 60, and a 90-day plan to keep yourself on track, because it is like starting all over. You've got business cards, you've got signs, you've got new technology. It doesn't happen as fast as maybe you want it to, but it will happen if you keep yourself on track.
And I think that's a great way to explain it. And I'm very excited about your future. I know that, in the conversations with your friends that are like, what'd you do? What do you mean you joined eXp? And you created a little bit of a stir amongst some of your close friends and allies. But I loved what you said. Hey, the train is leaving the station. It's just my job to tell you it's leaving, not to get you on or off the train. I really love that analogy, and it's accurate. This is not for everybody. You can't say the right thing to the wrong person. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person.
You just have to do you. And I think that if people know me, just like people who know you, they're going to wonder what you're doing and why you made the choice, because they understand that we make really calculated decisions. Although they feel spontaneous, There's a lot of thought process that goes in there. My brain just makes decisions quickly.
Yeah.
And there's no bad place to be. There's the place you're at, and then you make it all work and come together from it. There's not a day that I regret the choice that I made. Every day is exciting. Even just yesterday when I was reaching out to you and said, okay, I need a little bit more. And you were so fast to say, how about these 3 or 4 things? And then I went and I said, oh, go to the world and go learn something new today, because that will change my whole mindset. And it did.
I
That was
love that.
fantastic. Mm-hmm.
And as a leader, I always want to give whatever they're asking, but sometimes it's better to teach to fish rather than give the fish, because it helps then open up other channels of opportunities and learning and what's available. I mean, eXp, fastest growing company in the history of real estate. Our stocks are just going bazonkers. It's up 10% today at $150 a share.
No, the only thing worse than waiting to start today was that I didn't start yesterday, but I can't come back and backtrack.
Yeah, it's like, when's the best time to plant a tree? It was 20 years ago. The second best time is today, right?
That's right.
And so, the good thing is you and the other people looking at this maybe opportunity now or in the near future haven't missed the boat. They haven't. I think we're just starting to really get into momentum as a company. And Grant Cardone joined this week. That created a lot of stir. 10X Grant Cardone. That was pretty amazing. And he said we are the Amazon of real estate. And for somebody of that significance to really look at our real estate company and have a view like that, I'll take that. I'll take that. And marching on to growing to 100 and 200,000 agents domestically here in North America, USA, and Canada, and 1 million agents worldwide is really on the radar for this company and the leaders. And I'm just glad to have you aligned and you being a leader in that new frontier as we march forward.
Thank you. Well, and some of the things that I've been a part of in just the last couple of weeks was something that I didn't have access to where I was. And I'm doing relocation training. I'm doing Rio training when it comes out next month. And I think the benefit to that is, having come from a small brokerage, we were never going to be one to many. And at eXp, because of the global coverage or the national coverage, I get the benefit of one to many. We have one person who a corporation can work with, whether it's relocation or distressed homes, and then they can disperse it out as long as the agents are trained. But the company working with eXp knows that we're all trained the same way. And that is a corporate feature. And do you remember me asking you, my fear was, how corporate is this going to be? Because I'm a little shy of corporate. But man, what a gift that was.
I do. And I really appreciate that. And what a lot of agents don't realize is we're one company. They go, well, I'm with, and I had a talk with a gal in Vancouver this morning with Remax. And she goes, well, I take that back. It was Realty One. And she's like, I had to leave because we had Realty One in Washington, a different one in Portland, and I'm working both markets. It's different brokers, different owners, different paperwork requirements, different places to file upload. She says, I'm literally running 2 businesses. So they looked at that consolidation. eXp is the same company in all 50 states and all of Canada and the whole world. It's one. The international is a little different. They keep that segregated. But think about that. Oregon, Washington, New Hampshire, Florida, Chicago, all the same company.
Well, and that was part of my goals. My goal is to have a place in Arizona, because I just don't love winter weather all the time, and I don't like cold all the time. And so, whereas today it's Washington, tomorrow it might be I cross the river into Oregon, maybe not. I'm weighing that option, but there's a really good chance in the next few years that I'll want to sell in Arizona.
I love it.
And to have one commission structure, one set of fees, maybe a different broker, but just like you said,
it's different broker for only compliance. It's still the same cap, same fees, same everything, no matter where you go. I got a place in Kona. You're welcome to go to it. It's a little place, but it's in Kona. But I did that because of, like you said, I want to be a snowbird. I want to get out of here during the winter. It was supposed to snow all this week. I want to be in Kona, but I am going to go Puerto Rico here in a couple of weeks. So I'm excited.
That sounds like fun too.
Well, listen, Suzy, thank you so much for being here. How can people get a hold of you if they want to get a hold of you?
Well, my email is Suzy at Suzy Sells Vancouver. And my personal,
SUZYSellsVancouver.com.
that's right. And I'm going to give you my personal cell because I do have a local number as well, but the one that is probably the fastest is 702-427-1650.
Awesome. 702-427-1650.
The one.
Awesome. Thank you, Suzy, for being here. Really appreciate you. And, welcome to the eXp team and organization. You've got a village that is here to help you succeed. And I'm just blessed to be part of that.
Thank you. I'm super
All right.
excited.
Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.
Yes.